my head! Oh, okay. Alright. Nice. Alright. In the widely diverse universe of online card games, Legends of Runeterra has carved out its niche in a lot of different ways. From its colorful lore to its interactive gameplay, this easily accessible and free-to-play card game really just has it all. I mean, seriously, the devs just added a feature that lets us skip all the free stuff we're getting. Evidently, one of the biggest selling points for lore is the champions, as they are directly tied into the hugely successful League of Legends universe. Most decks and lore are built around these champions and their game-changing abilities. I think most would agree that Riot delivers real substance in their exceptional art direction. Amongst glorious card artwork, fantastic board music, and powerful voice lines, shines the aesthetic poster child of Legends of Runeterra, the champion level-up animations.
Ooh, quite a collection!
For the most part. Lately in my free time, because I'm psychotic and I literally only think about this game, I've been pondering whether or not lore's animations are truly up to the standard we know Riot can put out. And so I ask myself, are champion level-up animations getting better with each new set? In order to answer this question, let's first delve into what actually makes a good level-up animation. Hello! Welcome to the baking portion of this very serious analytical video. Now you may be wondering, Puff, why baking and not cooking? Listen, as someone who's burned chicken and broccoli before and chronically underseasons all of my dishes, I think it's best that we keep this segment as is. Now, in order to create a good level-up animation, let's throw in the proper ingredients. Power. Champion concept clarity. Effort versus payoff. And frequency. These are the ingredients chosen to create the perfect level-up animation. First and foremost, let's talk power. And I'm not talking about attack power here. No, the kind of power I'm talking about is the feeling evoked from a champion reaching their greatest potential. Their level 2, if you will. Power, in a level-up animation, utilizes the right voice lines, sounds, and animated effects in all of 6 seconds or less to give the player a sense they can turn the tide of battle or fully solidify their win. Next up, we have champion concept clarity. This is essentially how clear a champion's purpose is made through their level-up animation. When champions have concept clarity, the player can easily notice the champion fulfilling their intended purpose, like Soraka's intent to heal, or Viego's intent to just fuck up your entire day. Clarity in general can also be as simple as how similar the champion's animation model looks to the card art itself. Alrighty, stay with me here. As the last two ingredients, these two are closely intertwined since they deal with the player's perception of the game. For ingredient number 3, effort versus payoff, you may notice the value of a champion's level-up animation can change depending on how difficult it was to obtain said level-up. Essentially, champions that are more difficult to level require more impressive level-up animations, otherwise the effect falls flat because the player does not feel rewarded. This is an actual phenomenon that has been studied outside of just our little card game, which is loosely related to the effort paradox. The implication is that effort is costly and needs to be compensated as such, otherwise the player perceives their effort and the reward as non-worthwhile. Finally, we get to the last ingredient, frequency of level up. As I mentioned previously, this point also plays into our mentality of the game. Meta champions that frequently level up will always have a lower perceived value on their animations since they'll be abundant everywhere, causing players to get sick of them. That being said, the inverse is also true of champions whose animations are rarely seen, giving them a higher inherent value. These champions can be meta or not meta. It really just depends on how often they're leveling in the average game. When utilized in correct amounts, the ingredients blend seamlessly to give animations what I like to call flavor. Fitting, right? Flavor is the overarching umbrella term of the effect that is created from our ingredients. Simply defined, flavor is the essential character of what's trying to be conveyed in a champion level-up animation. It's no secret that Legends of Runeterra pulls its champions from the fictional universe of Runeterra, a universe that was introduced via the popular MOBA game, League of Legends. Now, in League of Legends, it's very easy for flavor to get lost in sauce. Especially when you've got champions with abilities spanning the length of a short novel, or champions that literally just toss a rock at you. What Legends of Runeterra does is it takes these beloved champions that we all know and love and presents the very essence of what they should be, while also adding onto said champions' existing lore through followers and card art. This, ladies and gentlemen, is flavor. You see, Legends of Runeterra is a game that utilizes flavor to its advantage and is honestly a selling point for a lot of new potential players. I mean, seriously, the game is abbreviated as lore, for crying out loud. Now, we could debate the lore team's interpretation of champion gameplay all day, but that's for another day. We are here to discuss champion level up animations and how flavor enhances the standouts and lack thereof brings down the worst. With this newfound recipe of 4 ingredients that have been bestowed upon us, I believe we are ready to graduate from baking school and move on to greater horizons. In order to properly assess the flavor of in-game level up animations, we need to go all the way back to the beginning of Legends of Runeterra. Pack your bags, y'all. We're going back to the foundation set. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that level up animations have objectively gotten better since Legends of Runeterra's release back in 2020. During the game's initial beta period, the Foundation set featured card animations I've dubbed the Spinny Cards. As you can see, in comparison to the level ups we see nowadays, the Spinny Cards had a bit more repetition to them, but were great indicators of champions reaching their ultimate power level at the time. I think it's quite impressive how the team working on the effects for the animations throughout Foundations were able to tackle this daunting task of learning how to capture the essence of the intended champion in 6 seconds or less. That being said, it's important to note the standout level up animations of this set. The animations with the most flavor. Lucian level up is still an animation to this day that gives me straight up chills. If you didn't realize, his animation changes depending if you've seen 4 allies die or if you've seen a Senna die. The animation presents Lucian's purpose as a hunter with a vengeance very clearly. The use of stillness to flashing throughout the animation paired with the powerful visuals creates the illusion of Lucian shooting his pistols throughout, until he finally lines up in the exact pose of his level 2 art and actually does shoot his pistols for the player to see. In addition to being able to hear Lucian's signature dual pistol sounds that we all know and love from League, the animation also brings the perfect voice lines, with the addition of Lucian's cry of rage when he's seen Senna die. I strongly advise watching this video by Beyond FX as they briefly go into the behind the scenes of Lucian's level up animation, an animation that, in my opinion, still holds up as one of the best to this day. You can also find the link for the video down below. Some other notable level ups from Foundations would be Zed and Heimerdinger. Both of these champions' level ups are quite neat to me since they take the traditional Spinny Card formula from this set and throw in a twist. For Zed, the spinny animation is the initial shadowy part of his body before you actually see his shadow emerge and slice through the camera. I also love that the main colors utilized in this animation are the ones found in his level 2 art. We love consistency here. For Heimerdinger, there is a clear story being told. It's evident to me that as Heimerdinger levels up, he comes up with an idea and is working on himself in card form to reach his highest potential as his level 2, which is only more greatly accentuated by his victorious pose showcased at the end of his level 2 art. Although this level up animation could be described as comparatively simple to what we see nowadays, I think the storytelling is very fitting for Heimerdinger and accentuates the flavor quite well, if I do say so myself. After the game's initial beta period, Lore announced the Rising Tide set, which was the catalyst for a new type of level up animation. Long gone were the days of Spinny Cards as the game transitioned into a period of 3D models for champion level ups. Moreover, all champions from this point forward would have a cutscene, unlike some of the Foundation's champions whose level ups would not even cut away from the board state. While some champions retained a shadow of the Spinny days, such as Fizz, Maokai, and Gangplank, these 3D animations utilized card spin in ways that were unique to the champion and felt anything but repetitive. On the topic of Rising Tides, it's impossible not to discuss two of the overwhelmingly best level up animations of the set. That's right, you guessed it, the dynamic duo, Twisted Fate and Swain.
Empire above all. By my hand will Noxus rise.
Both of these animations are powerhouses in their own right, utilizing different measurements of the 4 ingredients we specified earlier to reward the player.
Looks like I'm on a hot streak.
As one of the most difficult champions in the game to level up, Twisted Fate's level up is obviously seen very infrequently. But when that boy does level, he has one of the longest animations, clocking in at a whopping 9 seconds of pure, unadulterated card flipping. Combining the snippy snappy of the cards with the snarky TF voice line, the animation presents Twisted Fate's purpose very clearly. Opponent is fucked. If you ask me, that's some damn good payoff for the effort invested. On the other end of the spectrum, Swain's level up oozes pure power. Everything about this animation is very purposeful, from the map slapping the screen, to Swain's hand stamping his goddamn mark, transitioning into red lightning revealing a level 2 Swain looking down on you as if you're nothing. Although this champion is not particularly difficult to level in the right deck, I have always found Swain's animation to be one of the most powerful and distinct in the game. This opinion is enhanced by the addition of the ominous music and the first-person perspective, giving the player the sense they are truly the commanding strength over the Noxian armies.
My hand will Noxus rise once more.
Although the level up animations for the 3D model period of lore are usually remembered quite fondly, there are still some that miss the mark in terms of flavor. In particular, I find Misfortune's level up to be the most egregious of the bunch. Although the transition of the card burning up is quite neat, the spectral form of Misfortune taking aim at the player lacks in power, champion concept clarity, and payoff, especially given how difficult it can be to level her up. Interestingly enough, Misfortune's level up is the first of its kind to utilize the full champion's likeness in an animation. For the following set after Rising Tides, Call of the Mountain would continue to utilize 3D models just like its predecessor, but would include full champion renders in 4 new level ups this time: Tarek, Nocturne, Shyvana, and Aurelian Soul. Not only that, but music was removed entirely from champion level up animations from this set forward. Yeah, I'm sad about it too. Some more standouts amongst the 3D model animations would have to be Zoe, Soraka, Shyvana, Victor, and especially Aurelian Soul. Personally, I like to view Aurelian Soul's animation as the epic culmination of 3D model level ups, before lore would inevitably depart from the style and transition into a new era of pre-rendered, cutscene style champion level ups. Legends of Runeterra's transition into entirely pre-rendered animations started off with a bang when the Empires of the Ascended set was launched. This change in style caught the entire player base off guard, but was resoundingly successful due to how well done the animations were. According to Oxy, lore's transition into pre-rendered animations allowed artists to put whatever they wanted into the cutscenes without having to worry about performance issues. However, this change would make it impossible to render the card model itself into the animation. Nevertheless, many players were ecstatic about the arrival of cutscenes to our shiny new champions.
Yep. And then you survive the damage and you level. Oh!
With the release of the following set, Beyond the Bandlewood, it started to become evident that these cutscene type animations were the new norm for champion level ups. In addition to the cutscenes, all champions were now receiving transitions at the beginning and end of their animations, a nice touch that was only added to a handful of champions beforehand. Although there was still plenty to love with this new release, some of the cracks started to show for champions whose models looked different from their card art, thus creating a lack of champion concept clarity. Notably, Galio has a particularly ambiguous level up animation, especially given the short amount of time allotted.
Magic goes in, might comes out.
I find it difficult at first glance to recognize that Galio is actually protecting a city from what appears to be Scion in the shadows. There's a distinct lack of clarity in Galio's function as a protector of the city, unless the player were to take more time to actually look closely at Galio's level up animation. And let's be real here, who's even leveling up Galio nowadays? In addition to Galio's off proportions, coloring, and overall clay-like quality, Galio, in my opinion, is a prime example from the set of a weaker level up animation, despite how game-ending his level 2 form is. And don't even get me started on Scion. Conversely, since the introduction of pre-rendered animations, the power level and complexity of champions and their decks has been increasing greatly. In combination with lore's growing player base, it's only natural that there are simply going to be champions in the game that are more hated than others. As I stated earlier, meta champions that frequently level up will always have a lower perceived value of their animations, since they will be abundant literally everywhere, causing players to get sick of them. Some of the most recent terrorizers of the meta have left lasting impacts on how players still view their level ups. Exhibit A, Pantheon.
I stand this day, a man against all gods.
Exhibit B, Azir.
Tell the people what you have seen today.
I probably don't need to say anything regarding why I'm using these champions as examples. However, if we were to analyze both of these animations objectively, they're fantastic. The voice lines and power conveyed, in addition to the total champion concept clarity, are some of the best in the game, but are diluted by how oppressive these champions were for a period of time. Not you though, Azir. You can continue staying relevant all you want. I love versing Monoshreem and Azir Irelia on ladder. With the most recent edition of the Worldwalker set, although some of the models for the champions are still a bit off, the pre-rendered animations are showcasing more clarity and proper payoff for the effort. Plain and simple, it's evident the pre-rendered animations are getting better. That being said, I can't help but feel like something is still missing. Don't get me wrong, I think Bard, Gwen, and Jin's level ups are stellar and very fitting for their respective champions. And well, Eve is just Eve. But when the topic of 3D model animations is brought up in the community regarding level ups, I found there's a lot of nostalgia for these models, where the champion is never really fully showcased and takes almost more of a first-person perspective, or immerses the card itself in the animation. Personally, I believe a lot of this nostalgia is rooted in the fact that 3D animations are limited by how much they can showcase with the full champion rendered in the cut. That being said, it's evident that pre-rendered animations are here to stay, which isn't a bad thing at all, honestly. With the release of the newest Star Guardian skins, I see a huge step up in overall quality. I mean, look at this!
I'll give you to the counter.
These animations are actually just straight up the best pre-rendered animations lore has. In terms of overall quality, I find these skin animations to be moving towards Wild Rift levels of quality. Skin animations in general have always been very hit or miss for me, but are distinctly getting better over time, in addition to including more art and neat effects. Personally, I would love to see them experiment with more flavorful skin level ups as seen in the Rift Quest skin line. Honestly, I'm optimistic and excited for the future of Legends of Runeterra champion level ups, both base and skin animations. It's clear that lore continues to push the boundary artistically and has come a long way from simple Spinny Cards to what it is today. So what do you think? Have champion level up animations been getting better over time? I'd love to hear your thoughts after having watched through my analysis on the topic. And I would also appreciate any feedback since this is my first time doing a commentary type video. Personally, I love content like this, and I want to be able to bring more of this to my channel in the future. Thank you so much for your time, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. See ya! God damn it.